Hello everyone, this is Bebel Den. Welcome to part 15 of the Akira class tutorial in Blender. Picking up where we left off, working on the saucer section, more particularly the bottom part of the saucer section, I have managed to go ahead and successfully combine this portion here with the bottom section and reintegrated it back into the top section. Still have some little minor tweaks that I need to do, which I'll pick up a little bit later, more towards the end of the housekeeping session of this tutorial. Like right here we have a couple little discrepancies, and that's mostly with inside the mesh, because integrating this in, I added in edge loops that didn't quite coincide 100% with all the edge loops that were up here. But took a little bit of work, but I finally got it. And it's not absolutely perfect. As you can see here, we have a couple little anomalies. It's, for the most part, is flat, or, well, not necessarily flat, but rounded like it's supposed to be, as you can see here. But we still have these little marks here. That seems to be where there are an excess amount of edge loops. So what I'm going to have to do is select these vertices and smooth this out. Smooth all these vertices out here to try to help get rid of that. But we'll take a look at that a little bit later. But what I'm going to be mostly focusing on today is, since now that I have this integrated, I'm going to try to work on the thrusters that are on the saucer section, and also trying to work on um, the back and front portions of the shuttle bays. Try to go ahead and cut in the doors and put in little details and stuff like that. And then I'm going to get y'all's opinion, hopefully between now and the next episode, on something on this ship, which I don't know exactly what to do with it, but we'll touch basis on that here just a little bit later. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and start adding in some of the details that we see at the bottom part of the section of the hull, similar to like this right here, what we see, this little detail, these little details, all these little details that I've drawn up here, put down here at the bottom, and any windows that we need, I'm going to start trying to cut those in as well. And I'm going to do most of that off screen, but I'm going to try to do it inside this episode. I mean, no sense in me showing y'all, because all it is just the same thing that I did here for windows and hull details, just mapped again back down to here. So no need to really kind of show y'all that on screen. So I'm going to cut out and come back in, and we'll take a look at the the shuttle base. So I'll be right back. All right, everybody, it looks like it is coming along nicely. I mean, all those little extra details and stuff really kind of give the model a lot more solidarity. I think that's an actual word to use, solidarity. Maybe not, but it's starting to really kind of come along. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. I haven't put on windows yet, and there's a couple little areas that I've noticed in textures that I don't know how I want to approach those, because, and I know I expressed this before, but it seems like that with this particular model, because it was probably hastily made, that there are some irregularities or possible irregularities I can which can be debated whether or not if they are an actual part of the model, or whether or not if, or actually therefore part of the ship mechanically, or whether or not if it's just due to them reusing textures or quickly making it, you know, so on and so forth. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, I'm going to leave the windows and everything for later, and those will be added in by the next episode. So I'm going to go ahead and get started to work on uh, the shuttle base. But before I do that, I want to try to take care of this issue. I'm going to show you the way that I try to do it. This is just one way that you could probably try to deal with these. But how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go into face mode, and I'm going to select all of these faces along the bottom, all the way up to where it actually flattens out along edges. Just like right here, this is actually supposed to be a flat edge, so I'm not going to select those. I'm going to select before them. So we're going to go ahead, hold down the control button and select that again. So I select the face up here, go down, and I'm not going to select this edge. I'm going to select this edge and hold down control and select there. Move over. Once again, I'm not going to select this, or not edges, but these faces, because these faces have an edge that is right there along this edge, and by smoothing it, it's going to smooth it out and therefore remove, you might say, this sharp edge along here. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to do that. Well, let's go ahead and I'll show you what it does. I mean, you could, your results may vary, but let's go ahead and go all the way up to the edge and we'll see what happens. So I'm just holding down control and I'm just selecting, oops. Yeah, let's do, oops, no, not that. Control, and just hold down control and just select all the edges here. So once I select all of these, now I don't have to go into vertex mode. I just do it just for, my own satisfaction. So I'm going to do a control V, and I'm going to do a smooth vertex. And I'm just going to keep smoothing out the vertexes. And as you can see, it's smoothing out. But see, watch this edge here. It's actually bringing this edge in. Oops, no, I don't want to bevel. With vertex. See, it's bringing that edge in, and as it's bringing that edge in, it's flattening out. So it's removing that edge there, and that's not what I want to do. So let's go ahead and do a control Z. Now, so to prevent that, I'm just going to select just the edges, or the faces, I'm sorry, faces. Not the faces that have an edge that border lines along this edge here, but the faces before that. So let's go ahead and do that again. Let's go to there. No, actually, let's do there. There we go. And also I have to apologize. I think I mentioned this in a different episode, because now you can see my taskbar here. I'm having issues with the OBS system, which is what I'm using to record these. For some strange reason, if I only go into game capture and tell it that I just want to capture this screen, it's by itself, and I use multi adapter display, which is the only way I can get it to where it'll capture Blender for some reason. It actually does not let me select anything in Blender, and it's kind of weird. I've been struggling with that for a while, and I just find out that it's just easier just to go ahead and just do a whole monitor capture instead. But this actually makes it easy, because then I can go in and show you other windows that I have open up, which will come in handy a little bit later in the episode. So I'm going to once again select all of these, almost done. Boop, and boop. There we go. Now, once again, this isn't necessary. It's just me. Control V, and I want to start smoothing those vertexes out. I had to do it several times, but it is starting to smooth them out. Now I may need to probably still go in and delete some of these extra vertices, and I may end up needing to do that. And I can move some of these around, and I'll show y'all what I'm talking about here in just a minute. And you just keep doing that until you get the results that you want. It said right now almost all of those anomalies are gone. We still got that anomaly there. Oops, no, I don't want to bevel. Just do that several times, and eventually it starts to smooth out. I'm still going to have to go in and figure out about how to remove some of these extra edges here, and there's ways I can do that, such as, in ways I can clean up the mesh, which I'm going to do when I'm starting to, no, I didn't want to do that. When I start doing what I call the, housekeeping, which is trying to, there we go. Which is what I call when I'm trying to finalize the model, is I could just go in and just select a bunch of these edges here, or these vertices here and just kind of move them around just to shape them up a little bit. And I might have to, I already got triangles in here that I didn't originally want, but since I already subdivided the model, I can get away with some triangles, so I could probably actually combine some of these edges here with other edges and just have a triangle like right around in here, or or somewhere further down the line, just to reduce the number of edges and vertices in the model along this, and that would also smooth it out as well. But already, just by doing that, it kind of smoothed out quite a bit of it. So I still need to go in and repair some things, and I will definitely do that before I go in and start putting in some of the details and line work that we see in this part of the lower hull, like what I did right up here. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on and start taking a look at the shuttle base. Okay, so for the sake of doing the work here, I'm going to be referencing this image more than the actual model itself. This was a sketch that was done. That was, I guess, if I understand the story correctly, this was basically done to kind of show the details of the Akira class. So before the model was actually made. So this shows a lot more detail than what the model does. And as we see here, there's one, two, and even a third shuttle bay. Now, not knowing exactly the exact eternal layout of the ship, but knowing that this particular ship is a shuttle carrier class, and so therefore there's just how there is forward shuttle bays and rear shuttle bays. There's believed that there's an existing shuttle bay that goes all throughout the ship, so ships or fighters can come in through the back and exit through the front. So if there's a battle, they exit through here, and then if they need to return, they return through the back protected portion of the ship in through the back. And using this image here, that's what I'm going to kind of design and keep in mind, is that these shuttle bays here are designed for the standard the standard complement of shuttlecraft for this particular type of ship, while this door here is designated for the fly-through shuttle bay for all the fighters that it might potentially carry. So these only go in, and you can kind of see that there looks like there might be just a wall right there. They go in just far enough just to park, whatever their complement is, 3, 4, shuttles, standard shuttles or something in each, per shuttle bay. And then this right here actually goes all the way through. So if you get it just the right angle, you could almost see all the way through the front of the ship if this shuttle bay door and these front shuttle bay doors are actually open. And that's what we're going to be kind of designing. Now, whether if I'm going to actually draw out, or not draw out, but model the entire internal shuttle bay, I don't know. It just depends whether or not if I want to do any kind of shots with this model where you can actually see down the shuttle bay. So y'all let me know what y'all probably would like to see. And then going back to here, we're going to be modeling what I'm thinking is shuttle operations. So right here is an extra, like a whole other bridge module, like, similar to right up here, except this is only designated for shuttle bay operations. Um, there might not be one in the front, but this one right here deals with all of them. So because most of the shuttle bays are back here. So let's go ahead and get to work. And then looking at that shape, see, I think we do have okay, that's not it. A view of the back of the shuttle. Yeah, we do. Here we go. And I already know that I've made these too tall. So I do know that. We've already expressed that. They're too tall and they're not wide enough. And I just decided that I'm not going to go back in and fix anything. I'm just going to just leave them as is and adjust everything accordingly. So if it's not exact, so sue me. I've mentioned it before. Oops, we're supposed to see that. I've mentioned it before that this is just supposed to be, I'm treating this as almost as kind of a variant, you might probably say, to where they want smaller shuttle bays. So let's go ahead and get started. So from the back, let's go into edit mode. First, we're going to do the shuttle bays here. So they're kind of rectangular, but not. And I don't know where these doors would obviously go in that way. These doors, I don't know where they would go into. I mean, if they open up, they're going to close off these doors, this shuttle bay access here. But I'm not going to think about that too much. Let's go ahead and cut those out. So go back into here and let's see. So I'm going to do a K to cut. Actually, let's go ahead and select that. Actually, you know what I need to do is just move it over to here. We look at this. Okay, actually I can keep, well, let's move it over just a little bit. Just a tad bit. And let's see if we can flatten that out. Scale X0. There we go. Actually, let me look. Is there a smooth vertex? I didn't think there was anything to where they could flatten it. Let's just do it this way. I'm just going to go ahead and select a vertex, press G twice so I move it along the edge. I'm going to move it until I see that this line here between this vertex and this vertex is a straight line. Let's do the same thing there, GG. It until it looks like it is a straight line. Or close enough. Well, that's close enough. Let's go ahead and select that. Scale X0 and bada boom, bada bing. All right, now that should be straight there. So now I'm going to do a K, and we're going to select, start there. And, oh, you know what? Dopey me. I completely forgot. I can actually go, actually, I don't need to be starting there. I need to be starting a little bit over here. Let's go ahead and do the same thing here. I forgot, for some reason I thought these were along this edge here. So let's go ahead. Almost kind of like the adage, you know, measure twice, cut once. I almost made a cut and wouldn't have worked out for me. I probably would have, but still. I can always go back and repair it. All right, now let's go ahead. We're going to go here. We're going to go set a little bit higher. We're going to make it to where these shuttle bays are just a little bit higher than usual. So we're going to go, actually, we're going to go right about to there. Let's cut that. Go, and then we're going to go K. Oops. We're going to go down, and let's go to right there. Then let's see what this is going to do. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So I'm going to have to do it, oops, do it this way. So let's go onto this side, go K, oops, select there, go down to right about there, and there. There we go. There's the outline of the shuttle base. So now I can go ahead and go in and select each one of those faces. Let's see, going to there. Yeah, there we go. And let's go ahead and bring them in just a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and go to extrude, extrude negative 0.002. Let's see, does that give me enough internal extrusion? Actually, let's go a little bit more. So let's do Control Z, extrude negative 0.005. There we go. I like that right there. That's good. Now let's go ahead. Up. It again. You weren't supposed to see that. Now this right here looks like that line is jagged, but I'm going to go ahead and just make it simple for me, and I'm going to go make it to where it's kind of a straight line. Actually, yeah, we'll do that. Let's go ahead. Actually, let's go ahead and do these areas right here. Actually, no, let's do that line. So we're going to go back into here. We're going to go into a K. We're cutting with the knife. And let's go to that vertex. Ah, darn it. This might be a little bit challenging to try to get, so I might have to go into that mode. So we're going to go K. Is it all the way to corner? No, it's not corner to corner. So actually, I don't have to do that. Let's go back into here. K. And go down to, let's try right there. There we go. That's satisfactory. All right. Now here, I can go in and do some little bit of work like here. I can take these, them along at last, and at last. There we go. Then here I can take this and move that up to there. There we go. Might look a little bit ugly, but it's keeping the poly count down, and it's trying to keep... Oh, actually, I might want to... Yeah, no, let's just keep it like that. There we go. All right. So now we got that. So let's go ahead and this is why I did it this way. Let's see, we got it to the, yeah, that's still to the back. So let's go ahead and select this. And let's do Control F. What was it? It was inset faces. So let's do an eye and inset that face to there. Let's select all of these here. Eye. And inset all of those. Actually, I could probably have gotten away without selecting. Let's try that. There we go. Need to do a little bit of adjusting here. Oh, let's see. Here I'm going to have to do something a little bit different. First off, let's go ahead those down that way and split these all up just a little. Now let's go ahead and try it. Because what's happening here is that getting some edges and faces that are overlapping. Don't want that. Okay, let me look at and see what I could probably do here, and I'll be right back. All right, I got that done, plus a little bit more. I've added some windows and did a little bit of cleaning up of the mesh around inside this area. As you can see, it looks a little bit more rectangular, which is what I like, but so far so good. I've added a little bevel in right here just by highlighting that edge and doing a control B and gave a slight bevel, so you can see a kind of a separation of the door there, and it looks like it's closed, so like there's a seal there. Also added this little detail here, don't know exactly what that is, and part of my mind of my thinking while I'm doing this is trying to figure out what technologies are, you know, what what certain devices are for and everything, while I'm building it, if it has not already been decided. Take example, if we look at like these little details here that I'm going to put in, and I'll probably put those in as a separate part of the mesh rather than trying to extrude them out of this mesh. You know, they're obviously they're sticking out, but what do they do? Don't know. Are they a force field? They could be a tractor beam. Um, I'm leaning more along the lines of that they might probably be spotlights. So if they, for whatever reason, need to keep this area dark, but they want to illuminate, you know, you see like a little light right there, but like if it's a more bright light, kind of a guiding light or something, you know, so if they need to keep this dark and the shuttle needs to enter in, you know, they can use that. And you know, it might also be the tractor beam as well. So I'm going to add those in. But now that we got this all done, now we're going to work on this portion here and this portion here. So this entire back portion. First thing that I'm going to do is I see that it kind of comes up and angles in just a little bit while I have my area straight. So, and that's a quick little fix. So I'm just going to just select these vertices here and do a Control G and a Y to move that back. Actually, let's do this. Let me pull up this picture again. Okay. Actually, what I need to do first is bring these up just a little bit. Oops, no, not bottom, back. So let's bring that up to right about, it looks like it's almost as big as that area right there. And that's what we got it at. Let's bring it up just a little bit more. And let's do a scale Z0 just to make sure that's all nice and flat. Same thing with, oops. Same thing with these, scale 0. There we go. Select all those again. Oops. And the G, Y, and bring that back just a bit. There we go. Now I may have to go in and tweak the auto smooth to try to get that to where it is. Do I need to go higher or lower? I need to go lower. Let's try 35 degrees. Nope. Let's do 30 degrees. There we go. Now, how does that affect the rest of the ship? Not too bad. We'll keep it at 35 and we'll keep moving along and see what happens. So, all right, now it's set at 35 degrees. So now we can go ahead and start working on it. So let's go back into that back view right there. And let's go ahead and cut out the area that we're seeing here. So that looks like it's actually kind of angled a little bit. And once again, that should be easy to do. All I got to do is just select. Oh, let me look at that again. Okay. All right, got it. So need to select, just simply select that, bring that in like so. And now if I select all of these faces right there, then extrude them along the y-axis. Let's go ahead and see where we can see it. Let's go a little bit more. Let me look into that. Yeah, let's go just a little bit more. G, Y, and there we go. Now to get that look, what I'm going to do instead is let's go ahead and do some manipulation here. I'm going to select that. Actually, let's delete those two edges. Actually, let's just delete those vertices. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. There and there. All right. Now we got the doors. Let's go ahead and do that. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and select all of these again, and we're going to, oops. Let's go ahead and do a inset. Oops, I don't want that. I want back. Let's do an inset. Actually, no, let's not do an inset. Let's just go ahead and extrude, scale. Yeah, because the reason why I want to do extruded scale, because if I do an inset, you see how it leaves this block right here, and I don't want that block to be there. I wanted that to be, um, a solid piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm using the built-in, not built-in, but the mirror modifier, where it can clip and merge, or it merges and clips those vertices that are touching together. So I'm going to use that to my advantage, and the best way to do that is to go ahead, and do an extrude and then scale it down. Now it's keeping those vertices tied in right over there. So now we go ahead and extrude again, bring that in just a little bit. And we have the shuttle bay doors. And to get that look to where that there is a separation point right there, we'll just simply go in, select that edge. Now, if I do a Control B to bevel it, see, it's not going to quite bevel. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and just temporarily disable clipping and merge. Or at least the clipping. Now let's do a Control B. Shift B? No, it's Control B. Okay, something's not quite working the way I was wanting it to. Is it because it has nothing to do? Okay, that's not working. It worked before. Well, if push comes to shove, which was probably going to, I'll just do this the old-fashioned ways. It did it before. I don't know why it's not doing it now. Usually, I would just select that and do a bevel. Maybe because it's no, that shouldn't affect anything. I mean, it did it before, so I don't know. But let's just go ahead and I'll tell you what. I'll add that in when I go ahead and apply the modifier. So, but we got that shuttle bay. It's a lot bigger than what I was intending it to be, but once again, we're just looking at this as a variant. So let's go ahead and work on that top portion right here that we have here. We got windows and we got this little piece here that bevels out. So let's go ahead and do the windows. And okay, now to work on these windows, now this is where the inset feature will come into play. So for here, because I wanted to keep this close together, I want to keep that line there, I want to use extrude. But to here, I actually want to inset all these faces without them combining here. So now I can use inset and then scale them up to be just about the size where we want the windows. Let's see, that looks like that might work. Only thing I might want to do is bring them up a little bit. Actually, it looks like it goes out there a little bit, but let's go ahead and select these edges here. Move those up a little bit, and let's select these edges here. Whoops. Those up a little bit. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, okay, we'll leave those there. Let's go ahead and select those again. And extrude. Actually, these I want to extrude straight back. And there we go. We got the two windows. Two sets of windows. They're a little bit more rounded. And like as you see here, they're there and there. Let's go ahead and actually give it that look. and that's relatively easy to do. Let's go ahead and see, do a K. Oop, not what I wanted. Let's do a K, and we go 1, then 2. Let's view it from the top, and let's make sure that all those edges are that I just cut in are straight. Scale X 0. Scale. There we go. So now if I go ahead and go in and let's delete this vertice, go ahead and add in there. And that actually I can bring up to there if I wanted to. Then 1, 2, 3. Normally I don't like using n-gons, but in this case we'll go ahead and we'll use it. It's not the first time that I've used it inside the model. And there we go. Now I could go in and I can add in all these little extra details here, those little things, and I might actually go ahead and just do that, but I'll probably do that off camera. So, but for this episode, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I think we got a pretty good amount of time on this episode, and I don't want to go too long. But we got a good start on the bottom portion for the details and this back area here. So I'm going to work a little bit more. You'll be able to see what all I've done on the thumbnail and in the next episode. But until then, I just want to say thank you for watching. This is B-Belt Dan. This is the Akira class in Blender, and I'll see you in the next episode.